you guys hear that? Little rumbling of some thunder. How y'all doing? Just real quick, just to let y'all know that, yeah, this is a really cool follow-up. We kind of go over a good amount of kind of touching on what we spoke about in the last live stream. Liz and her partner Mark was available this time around, and so yeah, it was cool to hear his takes and some questions he wanted to follow up with what he heard from the last chat, and yeah, that was cool. And they had someone else come on, and yeah, this guy is pretty interesting, Ben, who out in the UK, and covering, just it's really cool collaborating with people, that have different perspectives and levels of interest in research and all that stuff, So yeah, it's cool to come together on some pretty common sense takes on some things, and yeah, with the whole pyramid stuff, that whatever's underneath the pyramids now, like folks are just jumping to conclusions as if they want to be one of the first people to talk about this discovery. Like, relax, you didn't discover yourself, you don't have all the answers, chill, like let the dust settle a little bit more, don't get ahead of yourself, right? So yeah, anyways, yeah, I think this video will answer some of the questions if I said anything in the last video that had you scratching your head or whatever. So enjoy. Yeah, it's cool conversations, some good old laughs in there, and aha moments, and synchronicious situations. So yeah.
Let's get Derek in it. It's so sensible when we got somebody else.
Hi, Derek.
Stop me.
Hey, how's it going?
Very good. Thanks for joining us, my friend.
Yeah, good to be here. Yeah.
This little song. It was just inspired by the fact we've had all these fires in the UK, which seem to have randomly emerged in the middle of March. And then also one at Heathrow Airport, which is something different again. But I don't know. Has there been anything similar? Are you based in France? Is that right? Not to out you. It's a big general area, but I don't know. Has there been anything similar going on in your area?
I haven't really. Yeah, there's nothing really going on like you guys are experiencing at all, and neither to the. It just seems like outside of the Five Eyes, just like Anglo-Saxon territories, countries, like America, New Zealand, Australia, and all that. The programming is just, up several notches above so many other different countries. And yeah, there's programs and control systems that are in different flavors, tailor-made for different, populations. But yeah, out here in France, we're not dealing with the overwhelming woke agendas and that kind of stuff. Yes, the Emmanuel Macron and the parliaments are kind of like a little too overly obsessed with the insanity of their ideas of ecology and all that crap, right? But yeah, and I don't know, and I've been trying to do a video about this and like document it on the streets from here to even Paris. It's been on the back burners. Sorry about the noise by a train station. Just like the people complain about immigration, that's a big headline, right? Well, France, with the whole war in Algeria and stuff, it wasn't as intense with the 100-Year War of those good old Joan of Arc days and what have. But like I have not noticed a whole huge influx of Arabic and like other African based immigrants per se. Like we've had a steady flow of immigration, I guess, for a while. And like, hey, I'm American living out in France for the past 15 years, if you will. And yeah, I am an immigrant as well. But there's a difference between, and it's like falling into the generalization traps, like there are immigrants from all walks of life and any kind of place on the map that has done right and kind of lived by moral codes and integrated themselves into said country that they immigrated to, you know. But yeah, as we see, you know, in recent times, it's just out of fucking control and all that stuff, you know. Yeah.
Yeah,
But not so much in France, I noticed. But you guys, it's so sad to see, and like even in Germany and stuff. Yeah. Anyways, go for it.
No, it's interesting to hear that it's not so bad in France, because just picking up on certain stories over the years, I had an impression that it was a similar sort of situation to what we had. But then I suppose maybe France is a much bigger country in terms of the area, so maybe depending on where you are in France, it's you know, that it's not such a concentration, if you know what I mean. So maybe it doesn't seem so apparent. I don't know, but
Or maybe we're just not getting the right news. We got to share a headset. Because we're absolutely because we're shit.
High technology.
No.
Yeah, no worries. But it's like over the years, you see the fear porn on social media. People post something like, "Oh, the immigrant, all this stuff," and yes, to a degree, things do exist. But you know, I've called people like, "Hey, have you ever been to France before? I've lived here. I'm not seeing it. Like, what are you talking about exactly?" It's like, come on, like,
yeah. They're trying to whip it up, aren't they? It's not saying that there's not stuff going on, you know, Ireland and that is an absolute bloody nightmare.
Yeah, totally, yeah.
But yeah, they do like to whip it up, and like you say, unless you're there, you don't bloody know, do you?
Yeah, but I'm not over there where you guys are, but I've heard like some pretty foul things that have happened. Yeah, of course, you know, the fires, that's an issue, and the police being apathetic to, you know, crimes and stuff, and like punishing people for these trivial crimes, like posting on Facebook now and stuff like that. And you know, they're letting the immigrants do what they want in a sense. That's just what I hear. I'm not there, so I don't know, type of thing, you know. So it's like people need to not jump the gun so much. And like I was talking to one of my mentors today of just, oh yeah, like you know, and the whole social media TikTokification of everything, like people are getting money off of this. They have their channels monetized, unlike us per se. Like doing the great work is, you know, it's kind of like that labor of love and all that. Like we're getting paid.
We were just listening to Amazing Polly, who I haven't listened to for a long time because I didn't agree with her. We're not Trumpies, and she was very Trumpy, and so it started winding me up a little bit. But I'm growing up a little bit now. But she was just literally talking about how, you know, I think David Icke calls it the mainstream alternative media. She's got another word for it, but it really is, you know, the new media. People left mainstream media and went onto podcasts, but they're there again, aren't they? They're just the new guard, aren't they? You know, getting all of these all this money from these big accounts, but people are like, oh yeah, but you know, they're still saying a little bit of truth. And Polly was like, yeah, but that's not right. That, you know, they're watering it down with adverts for different things that are pretty terrifying, you know, like that phone that blows people up. But you know, every now and again there'll be an advert, and what was it, one of them was like, oh, I can't get any internet, so I'm just going to turn on my Skylink internet. And Polly was like, why didn't he just turn it on and do the podcast? Why did he have to walk around going, oh, you know, it's just a big advert. And they've worked out that instead of, like, you know, the adverts that Alex Jones does and all of that, come and buy my pills, blah blah blah, people will buy it if they see the podcaster doing it. So they've changed how they do it, and it's more subtle, but it's the same shit, just a different way of giving it to shoving it down somebody's throat.
Yeah, and you see some of these content creators, you know, with their in-video advertisements and stuff, because like, whoa, like this video would not happen. I could not make this video if this one company gave me money to sponsor it. It's like, really? Like no one paid me to do any of the work that I've done over like 500 videos for a dozen years. Like, come on, like, what are you talking about, people? Like,
I mean, we don't get any money, and look how shiny we are. Look how shiny and professional we are. sharing a mic.
If anyone wants to send us a new headset,
don't bother.
We'll willingly endorse your product.
No, we've got a headset. We just don't know how to have two on at the same time.
A headset that works.
Oh no.
I don't think it's a headset. I think it's the headset.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
We don't. Right. Nobody's going to advertise this shit, Derek. To be fair.
Oh dear. But
another thing, have you noticed? You know, like it seems like everyone on the internet and social media now, we're all in, I don't like to say competition in context, and I'm throwing it out there loosely, but it's more in competition to the algorithms, because the algorithms want to turn us out to be whores and like, what have you done for me lately? So keep pumping it out. Otherwise you're going to become like a forgotten, or you know what I mean?
100%. We were even talking about that today, because we used to do one every Saturday just for the fun of it, because I used to think, well, I'm a lonely old sod that doesn't really socialize and hasn't got many friends, and maybe there's other people like that, so maybe every Saturday we'll do a little quiz and Mark can do a little talk. And so we did that nearly every Saturday for a whole year, just because we enjoyed it. And now
that was
Mark
really
is
fun. I
writing
went
his
to a
book.
couple of those. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And now Mark's writing his book, we don't have time to do that. And we were literally on the car today, and we were going, to be fair, if we don't keep doing something like that, we've already noticed our numbers are flagging. You know, Mark used to get over 100 after his live stream after a couple of days, and now it's on 80 or 70 or something. And it's like, if you don't keep doing it, like you say, if you don't keep whoring yourself out, not that we're doing it for that, not with my knees, Derek. not this guy.
Not. Yeah.
It's taking a very dark turn.
It always does. Poor Derek. I was talking to him about my menopause yesterday. The other day. It's fine. He's one of the family. You're one of the Frouds now. You know, an honorary Froud. Poor sod.
What was it you said?
I don't know.
It's just between you, me, and the bathroom, and now everyone that listens on YouTube. So yeah.
But no, it's true, and you know the pressure's on. If you want to do this and make friends, and that's what it's all about, and you know, join up with people.
Well, I was saying, it's, although we haven't got a big subscription, it's sort of creeping up, and I hope it keeps going up. But even then, just a little bit, just putting some stuff out there to a few people, if they get something out of it. And it's great that we have people come in the chat, and it's great to see people join us as well, like you. And it's just the more and more people that just do little bits of stuff, whatever it may be, just having a little group where they live, or whether it's putting stuff on YouTube, or writing stuff places, or distributing the light, or newspaper. It's just little bits, I think, and that's just increasing the general consciousness around the globe, really. It's just, and that's what we're doing it for.
And that's all you can do. That's all we can do.
Unless the Wellness Corporation wants to sponsor us, in which case
we tell them to go shove it up their wellness.
Obviously, we would. Yes,
no, we wouldn't.
Yeah, we would. Yeah, we would.
We would not.
We wouldn't tell them.
Yep. I'm sure it wouldn't go down like that anyways, but yeah, it's like the labor, the love, and you know, just coming to some profound truths and epiphanies and things that we go through in this path work, right? You just come to a point where you're energetically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually compelled and motivated to do something about it. You know, we can't just sit on the sidelines and kind of just commentate on certain things and expect things to get better. And actually doing this work, I've noticed, you know, like, we can't expect a whole lot. Like, you know, we can't go in there, you know, putting out videos expecting, you know, oodles of views and what have you. That kind of, it's just, you know, forget about it. In the days of, you know, well, since the dawning of the Rona, as I like to say, the shadow banning is just, you know, off the charts and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's quite interesting, because Mark used to do conferences with his academic work. He used to go here, there, and everywhere, and it's true what Mark says. You know, if we get 100 people view it, he would have killed for 100 people in an auditorium for one of his speeches for his conference. You know.
Yeah. It's still, when you think about it like that, it's huge. You know, to 100 people to take time out of their day to have a listen to what I'm saying. And it's great that we have people around the world. You know, we've got Green Tea in the chat today from the US, and Murray in New Zealand.
We got Margaret. Yeah, Mark doxes people all day long.
Only in their general country. I'm not sort of putting their address out on screen.
Hi,
That's
Margaret.
Going to come up
Hi,
later.
Mark. Hi, Green Tea.
But no, it's just, yeah, it's awe-inspiring, really. I mean, that I just feel really honoured that people are listening to our stuff and taking time out. It's just
yeah, and when you think about it, 100 people, like the billions of things that they can listen to, it's just wow. Thank you. You know, we got 7. It says 7 up there. Thank you, 7 people. A,
Yeah,
thank you. B, are you mental? But when you think about it, all the stuff that they've got to do and they can do, to want to share it with us, that's just lush, isn't it? That's just so nice.
Yeah, and sometimes you know, I'm in a couple of groups where, you know, folks are, you know, getting their bearings and just at the more learning stage and not, you know, putting out videos, although they have that in their foresight. And, you know, I have to keep myself in check as well, because yeah, like the numbers can seem dismal compared to past videos and whatever. And it's like, we got to get the comparisons out of here. And kind of just to kind of like analogy, I thought it was kind of funny is yeah, sometimes we do these live streams, we see who's in the chat. It's like kind of like the familiar faces and stuff, and we're trying to get the message out to those that need to hear it the most and a lot of stuff. And you know, thinking about like you know, a wannabe up and coming rock band that's doing open mics or shows and this and that, but they're really low on the pecking order, so they're just opening up for the bigger names and that kind of stuff. And so, you know, as you know, there's barely any people coming in, like there's not a whole big audience except for like some of their friends and family kind of stuff. And then, you know, they do their set and then they're done and that kind of stuff. And then like the bigger names like the David Ikes and the Tomas Sheridans and that kind of stuff, they're more talented and experienced for sure, and much respect to all those folks for sure. But you know, it's just something to keep in mind, to be, you know, put things into perspective in a way and kind of just have a laugh at it, be like, oh yeah, okay, like,
exactly. And you know, just really grateful, like hi Ben, oh hi
Nina, hello.
We got some great people in the chat, and I don't know if you heard us, Nina and Ben. We were just saying, we're just so grateful for the 9 or 10 people that are just around, because look at all the stuff that you could be doing, like on the internet, or anything. So, you know, it's about not being disheartened. And me and Mark used to do this thing back in the day, and we started doing it again today. So, and I can
take the mic.
Thank you. So bloody unprofessional. It's hilarious.
Yes.
So back in the day, I mean, some people know we used to do this because we just used to bang on about it. We used to print out, this was before the COVID, we used to print out I used to make it quite arty. I used to actually go there, little websites and little nuggets and one-liners about truth, and go and have a look at Truth Stream Media, you know, and I'd make a beautiful little card and I'd make it art. I'd actually sew a heart and I'd attach it to it, and then we'd leave it around Chippenham. Like we'd leave it on a bench and walk away, or we'd post it through a letterbox, God knows whose house, or we'd leave it in a loo, or little tiny things we'd post out, and we'd slip them. Say you were, I don't know, in Bath and you bought a towel from Primark. There might be something in there about 5G because we would have slipped it in there, in a pair of jeans. And my printer broke and we didn't do it for years. But we literally did it again today. We printed some stuff out about the farmers and the fires. And we started, how exciting. And we're like, oh my God, you just don't know. One person picks up that thing. You just don't know if that has lit a fire for them and set them on their journey.
Unfortunate use of words.
Lit a fire.
But anyway, yeah.
But the thing is, and I was saying to Mark, even if nobody does, it's making me excited and motivated. And then we turn a corner and we saw this sticker, and it was without farmers there's no food, and we were like, yes. And you know, it's just like, we don't know who put that sticker up, but thank you, because that really validated what we were doing. And it just tiny little things like that. If you've got a printer, you can do it, and it just made it quite fun, actually, didn't it?
Yeah. A little subversiveness.
Yeah, little anarchists.
Hey, real quick, I gotta love and leave you guys for the moment.
Thanks for coming in, Derek.
Yeah, if this conversation finishes up soon, I'll pop back in if you don't mind.
Yeah, well, come and see us.
Oh yeah, pop in. Yeah, no, anytime. We love having you in. You're the new honorary Froud.
Oh no way. Yeah. Cheers. Much love,
Thanks,
y'all. And it's in preparation for a musical festival coming in September, possibly. We're trying to gather artists that are playing music and sending those wonderful messages of, some hermetically sealed ideas and things aligned to natural law and what have you. So,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
There's going to be a
If you know
physical music
anyone,
festival.
yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
Well,
Keep
it
us
is-
informed, Derek. That sounds great.
Sure.
Yeah.
We'll have to come over
on.
to France. And...
He loves a bit of music.
Oh, to be
mine,
online,
Derek.
but yeah.
I like the Bee
You're welcome
Gees.
over here anyways, yeah.
Staying alive.
C'est la
Just
vie,
saying.
yeah.
It's an important thing.
A bientôt. See
All
you
right,
soon.
Derek. Thanks for popping in.
Thank you so
Thanks, my
much,
friend.
Hugo.
Lots of love.
Ciao, Mark.
See you
Liz.
soon.
Yes.
Derek's our new Froud. He's a new member of the family, isn't he?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Can you see that? I'm keep pasting it. You are more than welcome to pop in. Ben, I know you've got a live stream at 9. Don't forget everybody to go and see Ben's live stream at 9. But anybody who wants to pop in, just click on that and just pop in and have a chat with us, because that's what it's all about. We're so unprofessional. We've got one headphone between the two of us. And Nina, I definitely did not nick this from work before I left.
Yes, that's right. I am helping organize a really cool music festival that's going down. I mean, it's looking like it's going to be like an online conference festival type of thing. And that was really sparked off from the last funnel conference, Freedom Under Natural Law. And it had its desired effect met with certain individuals that, took some of the things they heard from the conference and ran with it. And I've been contacted by one of them. What's up, Jerry? And she's trying to organize a few things as well, including a homeschool type of thing. And it's gonna be really interesting. So yeah, if you haven't checked out that funnel conference, please do at your own pace. There's like 18 hours worth of material to listen through. And if you want to just check out video by video individually, go to that, either the website freedomundernaturallaw.com or the Odyssey or YouTube channels. And voila. And with the funnel conference and being within the organization of that, there's going to be a 5th conference coming up, possibly by the end of this year, around autumn, early winter, possibly. No, I don't think so. Winter's that's December now. Getting ahead of myself, but they're looking to do a music festival as well. So there's a lot of stuff that's going to be coming in the works, and trying to get more people involved, more people inspired and motivated to, let's do the damn thing, Let's get back to this conversation. I came back in, we had a really cool, damn trains. Yeah, we had a cool 40-minute chat, just pinging around, just a lot of truth nuggets all up in there, and you wouldn't have to dig too deep, I think, we don't use such encrypted language, right? But and it was cool. Some of the people listening, they were inspired to take up the tarot a little bit and learn more about that, so just
concept of that.
It's all good.
Yeah, it's an exciting world, isn't it? I mean, it's like there's just so much going on. I'd like to be able to sit back and just write another a bit more on my serial and stuff like that.
Ben, the last time I knew you were writing something, you were writing a spy book. Did anything ever come of that?
No, I mean I was going to make a series of videos about spies, but nothing came of it because I had to get back into the woo woo.
You did a lot of research on it, though, didn't you?
Yeah, I've got one video up. It's called Part 1 because it was going to be a series, but I only ever did one. So I think it's just going to have to be Part 1 and no other.
Yeah, the world
It's,
gets
it's a
weirder
good
than
video. I'm
the
proud
actual
of it.
world is weirder than fiction, isn't it?
The thing is,
I'm
you
proud
say
of it,
about
though.
going back to the woo woo, but the spy stuff does connect up to the woo woo. You know, I did a live stream on it ages ago now, about a year ago now. But obviously, you got all the sort of Ian Fleming stuff, and his,
Yeah.
you know, 007 was John Dee's
I watched
code,
it. I saw it, Mark. I remember I saw that. Yeah.
and all the connections maybe with Aleister Crowley and how he was involved, you know,
Mm.
with MI5 and all this stuff, like connecting with all the stuff around the Second World War and with the I think there's been lots of books written
Oh, yeah.
about
Yeah.
a bit of a hi Derek,
Hi,
but
Derek.
how
Hi,
it was a bit of
Derek.
a almost an esoteric battle behind the scenes, you know, over the two sides in the
That's a
Second
good.
World War.
I remember it, and of course it ties. I remember that one, Mark. That's interesting. It is true because of the connection with Fleming, who was an occultist, and also the fact that it all ties into the Helen Duncan thing, the witchcraft trial, which I've covered
Oh
in
yeah,
enormous
that's very
detail.
interesting. It
Yeah.
talks about
There's
that.
actually tomorrow night. There's something on BBC Three about it.
About Helen
Uh,
Duncan.
Yes, there's a program on.
Is there?
I can't remember. It's on. I did share it on Facebook. It's Maggie Hahn, Helen's granddaughter. She told me about it. So that's going to be very interesting because Fleming was involved in that. Because Fleming was involved. He was actually coordinating the whole thing.
Wow.
To get Helen put away.
Yeah. Wow.
Because they really believed, and whether it's true or not, I personally think it was true. But you know, even the skeptics, I have to admit, you know, there were people high up who believed it was true. And
They
really
believed it
giving
enough
away
to
secrets.
kind of. They were worried enough to put her, to tell her to shut the fuck up, weren't they? Do you know what I mean?
Well, they could have paid it. Why they didn't pay her off, I don't know, because it would have been cheaper than the damn trial just to say don't practice
But
for a few months.
they wouldn't have even had a conversation with her, Ben, if they weren't taking that serious. Ben, for people that don't know what banging on about, in a nutshell, just talk about Helen Duncan and the things why she was a threat to the war.
In a nutshell, Helen Duncan was a lady from Scotland who was a very powerful manifestation medium, one of the most powerful in history. And she was very successful, very well known and famous. And in 1944, in March of 1944, she was jailed under the Witchcraft Act of 1735. This is a law more than 200 years old that was completely moribund. It was just the only reason it was on the statute books is no one could be bothered to get enough MPs together to repeal it. And so they dusted off this old archaic law to get her chucked to, banged up in Holloway prison for 9 months. And the reason was, of course, because they were already planning Operation Overlord, which this was the invasion of Europe, which took place on the 6th of June, D-Day. And Helen had already revealed several secrets through the testimony of the dead. Basically, these ships had sunk a few years earlier. They'd been sunk by the Germans, and the sailors had come through in spirit and had contacted members of their family and things like that through Helen. And basically, we know for a fact that they were watching her because Brigadier Roy Firebrace, another occultist, he was leading a human intelligence operation to monitor her, because they knew damn well that if our side was watching Helen, you could be damn sure the enemy was as well. They would have their own spies in her seances, and they were terrified that someone would come forward and give away too many wartime secrets. In November 1943, one of those landing boats sunk. You know, the ones with the ramp at the front, those infantry landing craft? One of those sunk on an exercise off the coast of Dorset. I think 143 sailors drowned, and they were floating around the spirit world. They knew about Overlord. Now, you could that phrase from the spy fiction. We had to kill him because he knew too much. Mm-hmm. But what do you do if you can't silence someone even by killing them? This is an unpluggable leak. And so they decided to frame Helen Duncan and put her away somewhere where she couldn't have any contact with the public until D-Day was over. It's a long, complicated, dodgy story.
It was real. They just wouldn't.
Yeah.
They believed it was real. Yeah, they people very high up were open. And Fleming, as you know, he believed it was real. Because Mark, as you talked about, Ian Fleming was totally open-minded about the spiritual world and things like that. So was Firebrace. Firebrace knew Crowley as well. He was connected to the Scottish SPR, the Society of Psychical Research. Fleming was in the SPR. There was all kinds of things. There's connections to that. There was connections to the London Spiritual Alliance. It's called the College of Psychic Studies today. And what's his name? the guy with the pipe, researcher. He was brought in. I can't think of his name. His name will come back to me. But anyway, he was brought in to basically coach the prosecution. I think he was part of the cover-up. And
she actually got put in prison, didn't she?
Yes. She was jailed for 9 whole months, and she got no time off at all. It was she got the maximum sentence, basically.
Wasn't she the last person to get done for witchcraft, or was that we just made that up?
No, she was the last person to be jailed. There was another prosecution which never went around. I mean, which never went anywhere. The act was actually repealed in 1951, replaced with the Falling Medium Act.
It's absolutely bonkers. Materialists.
Harry Price. Sorry.
Of course, this sort of stuff doesn't happen. Well, I'm sorry, it was literally part of your law. Where they actually put people in prison because they thought less than 100 years ago.
Yeah,
it's astonishing, isn't it? Yeah, I
remember Freeman Fly, I think, saying, where people say, or he said, you may not believe in the occult, but the people in power above you certainly do.
They do indeed, yeah.
What was it? Millionaires don't practice the occult, but billionaires do. Somebody said that, didn't they?
That's a good way. That's a good way to put it. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
That's why I bought some incense sticks and a candle.
Oh yeah, good idea. Well, they're hoping to get Helen. Maggie's hoping to pardon Helen under the Turing law, because this is the same law that pardoned Alan Turing. Because the statute he was
been pardoned yet. I thought she'd been.
She hasn't, no, because Turing was pardoned. He got an apology. He got an apology first of all from Helen, from what's her name, Sturgeon.
So technically, she's still being done under the Witchcraft Act.
Although this is crazy though, because Turing was pardoned because the sodomy laws were repealed. In Scotland, they weren't repealed.
There's nothing Ben doesn't know, if anybody's listening.
Well, on this subject, yeah. So Turing was pardoned. Along with a lot of other people prosecuted under that law. You see, this is a legal precedent that could apply to the Witchcraft Act as well. If it applies to the Labrouche amendment of the sodomy laws, then it can apply also to the Witchcraft Act, because it's an identical legal situation.
Makes you wonder why they're putting a film on about her now.
I mean, I can't wait to see it. I mean, it's the BBC, so we've got to be. It's probably BBC is dodgy. I mean, they occasionally come out with good things, but their last that recent program thing, I can't stand the presenter of that Robbins guy on the. I've forgotten the title of it now, but there's this new series that's come out, and he's a really annoying. He's got a really annoying presenter.
We don't watch any of that nonsense.
But it's not a bad program, but it's just the presenter. I can't stand him. He's such a bloody. He's a slimy little kind of like drip. He's the kind of kid who he reminds me of the kid who used to come up and try and get your dinner money off you by telling a sob, because he wanted to steal your dinner money, but he was too puny, so he just used to tell a sob story until you felt sorry for him and handed it over. What's it called? Oh, I can't remember what it's called now. The series.
Derek's like, what the fuck are you going on about?
No, I'm following, and it's all good. I'm catching up at the same time, and I mean, I get the idea that with any kind of television programming, what they're presenting, it's going to be to whatever degree a sanitized version of history or recounting said story and that kind of stuff. Although it can be quite insightful and educational, but they're not given some of those tender, juicy details that right.
It's like a little seed, then you can go off and do the proper research.
Yeah. It's my hopes are not high, but we'll find out when we actually see it.
Tie in again, I can't remember if it was BBC or another channel, but there is a program coming out, or it's just come out recently, about the pyramids with Bradley Walsh, who's this like comedy presenter guy in the UK. But I did read a snippet there saying, obviously it's not built by aliens, and it was just sort of trial and error.
What?
The building of the pyramid, sorry. Oh. Actually, this all was before the recent revelations and things, but it's just a way again of seeming to sort of try and police things using the media. I don't know.
It's almost like getting there first. If they get a sniff that something's going to come out, we've got to get in there first for the
You got to control the narrative.
Exactly.
Yeah, you got it.
State-controlled version.
Have you heard anything about all this stuff around the Egyptian pyramids, Derek? Is it
the stuff underneath the thing?
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was also had in mind. An hour ago when we were chatting a little bit in regards to all these content creators. As soon as a little bit of information drops or the pot gets stirred to like even a quarter of a degree, there's a frenzy because all these content creators, they're making money off of it. They have to feed the fucking algorithms and appease to that and appease to their audience and all that stuff, and they need that dopamine hit of likes and subscribers and all that crap with money behind it in a lot of instances and all that. And I'm talking about the alternative media and like the YouTubery aspects of it. And then we can talk about the talking heads on television and all that crap as well. Yeah, I don't think a whole lot of people have a clear idea of what has been, revealed. And there's, these AI generated images of what's possibly underneath the pyramids. Mm-hmm. Relax, everyone. Those are kind of not exactly what, is being interpreted graphically from the resonance measurements and all that they took.
Mm. They're
speculative
diagrams. We don't know that's what they look like. It looks like you see there's no doubt this technique is not 100% accurate. I mean, it often makes errors. No doubt they'll have calibrated it since they first started using it, but still, I'm still going to wait and see what happens with all this. But I mean, some people, I think, like there are grifters. I know it's true. I mean, the whole mainstream media is a big grift, and there are alternative grifters. I mean, my friend Darcy Weir has recently done a couple of videos on the more dishonest people on our side of the debate, if you can call it that. But I mean, I think there's other people you can just see they are like sincere, like what's her name, Funny Oldie World. She's you could just see like that she's 100% honest and sincere. I mean, she's totally over. I mean, she's quite amusing to watch her actually, because she's just totally overdosed on her kind of youthful exuberance. and
she doesn't sell the wellness project.
I don't even think her channel is actually monetized. I'm not sure even if her channel's monetized, but she's done.
We were talking about this, Ben, before you popped in, about how. Yeah, well, you do good for your views, but we're just muddling along, and then it's like, hold on a minute. 9 people are listening to us out of all the things in the whole. That's just amazing.
Yeah,
and I wouldn't like we need to big ourselves up.
Well, don't be surprised, yeah, if you're getting more than that, because I don't believe YouTube stats are actually honest.
Well, yeah.
I think you are downplaying deliberately.
I got the most views for is because I read out what is it, Weird Scenes in the Canyon. I did a really shit job of it. I don't care, but I do get a lot of views for that. But it goes up and down, up and down. It's like, you've got 2,000 views, you've got 1,000 views, you've got 2,500 views, you've got 2 views. So make your fucking mind up. I don't care.
I had some blogger articles. I started to get suspicious when I noticed that. Obviously, like I got shadow banned very suddenly in the spring of 2018, and you can see exactly when all my stats dropped by about 2/3. That's shadow banning. Definitely, I was my channel and my entire Google account basically was targeted. But now I'm actually started getting there's been a couple of articles where I'm literally getting more comments than views.
Yeah.
How's that possible? Yeah. That cannot be possible. If those view figures are accurate, even if you take it, I mean, it's even worse when you take into account that they claim a lot of it's bots anyway. When your views go up, they say, "Oh, most of those are just bots," and I'm like, well, but hang on, I'm getting more comments than views, so there's more people commenting than there are supposedly watching, along with even all the bots. Now, how is that possible? Unless
it's how it goes up and down, Ben. I used to get really sad about it, and Mark was like, "It's bullshit. It's not real."
They want you to think that. They want you to look at your own viewing figures and think, there's no point me doing this because no one's watching me. I might as well just give up. That's what they want you to do. That's why they're giving you a false impression of your own profile and your own reach.
I've probably got about 2 million followers.
You get a lot more. You get a lot more than you think. More. So do I. I bet we both do.
I call myself Joe Rogue Mum. With my 2 million invisible followers. Brilliant.
Yeah, but I just want to correct what I said real quick because, I know there's a lot of people that, I'm saying, like, in a kind way as well. Like people have a proper intention. They want to inform other people. They, latch onto some information. They might jump to the conclusion before the dust settles a little too much because for XYZ reason, it doesn't matter, it just boils down to like, can we just leave the minds of the listeners open to, what else is out there, what's going to be revealed. This is just the beginning. Settle down, y'all. Hold your horses. Don't beat a dead horse or what, as well. And whatever other proverbs that has horse in there or whatever.
Horses. It's like we were saying the other day. It's like you've got to have made your mind up about something. Do you remember when we were talking about how everything's gone to shit, including the
polarized and all that stuff? Yeah,
you're not allowed to go, I don't know. You've got to know. You've got to know what your gender is when you're 2. I don't know. You've got to know your opinion on something. And if you don't know, what's your feeling on this? You can't just go, I don't know. You've got to be on one side or the other about things.
It's really annoying because you get this from the skeptics, because they'll say things like, well, you just believe things, you never investigate. But when you do investigate, they say, stop investigating that. What are you doing?
Well, you're investigating the wrong bit.
You cannot win with it.
It's okay not to know.
It's okay. Yeah, it's okay not to be certain. Why? I'm not certain about everything. I'm not certain.
You're less bigoted then as well, aren't you? You're less. What is it when bias? What is it? Confirmation bias. You're less prone to confirmation bias, aren't you?
If you allow a grey box, yes, why not? If you allow sort of like an I don't know tray rather than an in and out tray, then yeah.
I love it. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I'm poetic this evening. This is a warm-up act for my own live stream later, guys. Yeah.
9 o'clock. We're 9 o'clock. Just like
Panmo TV. Yeah.
Cattle. I nearly said sheep. Go over to Ben's at 9 o'clock. We're just the warm-up act. We were talking about that as well.
I said, I've got to start rehearsing actually, and I've still got to look at a couple more things. I'm now doing 2 subjects instead of 1. So
you've got to go and you're getting your makeup as well, Ben, and all that.
Yes, got to get the wig on.
Your wig's slipping.
Yeah, it is. Got to get the wig on.
I think it slips
can't
right
be on
off.
TV like this.
You'll find it on the back of your chair later on.
It's great talking to you guys, and thanks
for popping in, Ben. We'll see you soon.
Yeah.
And come on and do, because you were going. Oh, he's gone. Bloody hell! He means business, doesn't he? Right. Okay. Bye. Gone. So, how are you, Derek? Do you want to know guess how much of the paper we've read since you've been gone?
Oof. 2 pages.
2 pages? How about 2 words?
What?
I think I said that and then Ben popped in, and then that was the end of that. So I don't actually know why I've got. It's like more of a prop, I think.
Well, that's all right. Yeah, we've had people to talk to, so it's
if you wanted to tap into the reading, go for it. But if you don't mind, I wanted to just chime in real quick and ask you both a question in regards to what Ben was talking about when I popped in initially, or jumped in and whatever. My French words, whatever. As far as like the whole, this, we've seen it throughout the centuries, these witch trial trauma cycles that keep playing out to whatever degree in the public domain, and also even be on a domestic level, on the macro to microcosmic scale, and this and that. Just like someone is exhibiting just I don't know, just extra special abilities or things that other people don't have or whatever, but it could just be translated to today of just people that can see, as far as the movie They Live or that kind of stuff. So I guess my question would be, how do you see these trauma cycles being played out in the modern day?
Well, it's funny.
You think like Christina?
Yeah.
So I'll just take over the mic.
Do
you remember yesterday or whenever it was, I said for the first time in my life I didn't realise, but I'm actually a TERF.
Right? Yeah.
You're a TERF. And I was like, what the fucking hell does that mean? I didn't have a clue what that meant. And then I was like, oh, I might be actually, yeah. To be fair, don't hate trans people,
Right. Yeah.
Never hated a trans person in my
Weaponized
life.
term. Yeah. Yeah.
Never been a radical feminist in my life. Recently, okay, it's starting to wind me up a little bit. Okay, so I met a woman who was doing a stall at the occult conference, and she set up this. She's bloody brilliant. She's Italian. That's what I said to Mark. I said, why do Italian women just get more and more gorgeous as they get older? And I'm just sitting here, a King Edward potato. I'm just a potato.
I vehemently defended you.
And you laughed. It was like, she's absolutely stunning. I'm just sat here like a bag of spuds. What's going on? Anyway, she set up this occult, esoteric secret. Oh, am I beeping? Oh, can you hear me? Right, like a secret society to impart esoteric knowledge to and for women. Okay, and she's been told off because she only wants to impart this knowledge to biological women, because she says that's all she know. What she's teaching about, like we were talking about, the nonsense that I talk about, my private nonsense. There's no point in trying to teach that to somebody who hasn't got the bits and the bobs, okay? And do you remember we were talking about the divine feminine and the divine masculine? Mark's always
mental
banging on about
just mentalism as well. Yeah, the mental
yes,
health.
exactly. It's not even on a physical level, it's on a transcendental level. I don't know. And she said to me, because I met her again the other day at another somewhere else, and we were talking about this, and she said, do you know what? And she was so right. She said, this is the witch trials all over again. They are burning witches. This is what, because she's what I would call, she's a witch that I would go to. And I have. I'm paying her money, not a lot of money, every month to be part of this secret society, I like to call it, because I like to think I'm fancy. But she doesn't dress in purple bloody crushed velvet. She doesn't have bloody black cats on her earrings. You know what I mean? She's kind of like an esoteric, wise woman, that I would trust.
I see it as a founder of a sisterhood, if you will.
And that's what she is. I've even got a poster up there behind me. Exactly. But she's being told off left, right, and centre at places where she advertises, at stalls and things, because she only wants biological women. And she's being called all sorts of names and being told off, and she's had to really word it like almost. I don't know how you'd explain it. How would you explain how she words it to get round it?
She words it so, this knowledge is just based on the experience of biological women, so we can't offer a service to trans people because that's not where our experience lies, type thing.
But she was told that is going to offend people, the word biological women. I'm like, fuck off. Oh, yeah. I'm offended. But then that's when she said, this is the modern day witch burning. And I was like, fucking spot on.
That does...
Hold on, let Derek speak.
Yep.
Mind blown.
Go for it. Yeah. It's your show.
I was just
mind blown. Yeah, it's just like I'm pointing at like, damn, that's a spot on. Yeah.
And it does tie in as well to the original witch trials that happened in whatever James I day and that time, and because I think that was an assault against the divine feminine and that aspect of the old goddess worship and that sort of thing, and it was all part of the trying to impose patriarchal. I'm not using that in terms of a sort of left-wing ideology type of how they do it, but basically, this suppressing the natural pagan religions of before to impose a new order.
Well, natural law, like we were talking about.
Well, yeah, that, which also, yeah, of course, and 100% what's happening with what Liz was talking about, it is completely a disruption of natural law, just in terms of the natural, well, how people are naturally created, and the whole. but you know, the whole thing in the ancient societies, the whole, you know, all these megalithic structures, they're all about megaliths representing female and male, and of course connecting with the sun and the moon, which is masculine and feminine energies. And you know, that's been the source of energy for, you know, for the beginning of time, you know, and it's all an attempt to disrupt that and break that, I think. Yeah.
What is your thoughts on it, Derek?
Yeah, since time immemorial, it just seems like the, you know, and yeah, as you said, Mark, it's not the leftist ideology, you know, views of, you know, the patriarchy and all that stuff, but just in general, it seems like, you know, there has been more of an attack upon the divine feminine for eons. And I think the reason for that is because women are the, you know, quote unquote gatekeepers of this reality. You birth life into this 3D dimension and that kind of stuff, right? And you know, I'm, you know, thoughts coming to my mind, and just more questions rather, of just, you know, like, you know, back in the good old, you know, pre Saint Patrick, fat prick, Catholic, you know, crap, you know, like I'm talking about, like, yeah, the Tuatha and all that stuff, before the invasions and all that stuff. How did, you know, these, you know, proper pagan tribes and communities, how did they respect and revere women? And what were, like, the quote unquote gender roles and that kind of stuff? And, you know, how did any of these ancient, even like the Native Americans, you know, where I'm from in America, that kind of stuff, that kind of intrigued me for a while growing up. And so, like, did we forget how our ancestors used to, you know, relate to one another? You know, whether it be, you know, within the brotherhood or the sisterhood or the divine, you know, intersex relationships, if you will, and that kind of stuff. And just, yeah. Any thoughts on that?
I mean, I've talked before. People have probably got sick about me mentioning it, but I heard a talk at the symposium last year. A woman called Tanishka, the Moon Woman. I don't know. She's quite big on Facebook and stuff like that. But she was talking, and she's done a very interesting book, I think, saying the Grail, like the Holy Grail, how that originally was it was Graal, which, you know, relates to the menstrual cycle, and it was all to do with, but it was like a sisterhood, the priestesses, and it was all part of these ceremonies, both to guide women through these different natural cycles, but also specifically to guide the men through these different sort of coming of age things, to go through these different stages of life. Particularly the biggest one was with the winter solstice, because that was going into the darkest period of the year, which was regarded as the most feminine time. But men not having this intuitive connection, which links with what you were saying about giving birth, the matrix, the maternal. So it was required for them to be the guiding. So but it wasn't like a matriarchy, like the women were in charge, but it was, like you say, it was a sympathetic relationship between the two. But the priestesses were of vital importance because they needed to guide the men through, and that if men are going to these stages of life where they were going to become husbands, or then, you know, the idea of then, you know, warriors becoming kings or something.
Yeah.
And it does, yeah, go into the tarot 100%. Yeah.
Do you know what? I was literally just thinking about that card. Hold it up again. You know, one of you said that women, you know, what was it you said about women and they give birth to life and all of that? And you said something yesterday or whenever it was, Derek, about having to come through the pillars or something, didn't you?
Very important. Yeah.
Think about it. If those pillars, now this might sound completely bonkers and a little bit weird. Imagine those two pillars are women's legs, okay? And you're giving birth between those two pillars. Do you know what I'm just saying? That's just what popped in my head literally 2 seconds ago.
Yes. I'm glad you reminded us of that, because I thought that was spot on and so interesting. And you said that really that card should come before the magician, because yes, there needs to be that guiding force, and that's what's been cut out from society, like so you say, with the invasions, the empires, the patriarchies that have destroyed that. They've disrupted that natural cycle of things, and it's led to the destruction that we've had for centuries. And it's going
it's
to
just
another
knocked
level.
it off balance. It's just knocked it off a natural balance. We keep coming back to talking about balance, don't we? It's a very, what they say, the I don't know, what is it they say, the path to hell is paved with good intentions. Of course we don't want to be horrible to bloody trans people. Of course we don't want to be horrible to this, that and the other. Of course we don't want to be horrible to gay people. And that's not, of course not. Don't be so bloody ridiculous. The good intentions, we want to be kind to everybody. We don't want to exclude anybody. That's not what we're saying. But don't fucking push us. Don't push us so far over there that the train falls off the tracks. It's got to be balance.
Yeah, it's kind of like respect your ancestors. Like, you wouldn't be here if a man and a woman came together and conceived, your great grandfather or whatever, or mother. Yeah, and going back to balance, and we see the magician with all the, the elements on the table, right?
Yeah, material element. Bring it up. God Almighty, we just like. I wish people understood how important the tarot was. And it's the hero's journey on steroids, isn't it?
And yeah, the playing cards, the ace, spades, clubs, and hearts, they correspond to, the cups, swords, wands, and the pentacles, right? And what has happened within, the ass backwards world that we live in is that, the elements, with the human being the quintessential fifth element, I guess, that spirits, that's the inverted pentagram, right? And so we have to find that balance to, resurface that and have our feet on the ground and head in the stars and be that 100%. Stellar human being here on Earth.
And it even is the shape of a person upside down, isn't it? And the pentagram is an actual shape of a person upside down. And that's where the Baphomet comes into it as well, because people think, that means we got to all be trannies, because the Baphomet and back in the day, their gods were all trannies. No, it doesn't mean that. It means that they had the duality, they had the divine male and feminine in balance inside themselves. It didn't mean they cut bits off or glued bits on. They didn't do it. Wasn't about that. It doesn't mean that. It means that they transcended that. They transcended all of the nonsense that comes with being a woman and all of the nonsense that comes with being a man, or not being a woman or not being a man. They transcended all of that on a spiritual or whatever level, up their level. It doesn't mean cut shit off or glue shit on. It means they had the balance, the yin and the yang. And I'm not making any sense, but people just take things so fucking literally, don't they? And it's being used as propaganda. Oh, transgenders love the Baphomet because he's a tranny. He's got one of them, and he's got boobs, and he's got a wig. That doesn't mean that. You fucking idiot.
I mean, it's interesting because I read a lot of esoteric. Back in the day, hermaphrodites were always very important to ancient societies or esoteric groups.
For this reason.
But hermaphrodites are something that naturally occurs in a very
And it symbolizes, sorry, I get on one when we talk about this. It's hermaphrodites were revered because they materially symbolized what we're trying to attain on a spiritual level, which is the beautiful coming together of these two fucking elements, energies, whatever it is. They were the physical embodiment of that. So of course they were revered. It doesn't mean that's better. It's just a physical embodiment of what they were trying to get alchemically.
It seems what they're doing now maybe seems to be a version of more like, is it the cult of, I don't know if it was Sybil or Cybele, that the goddess that came from what's now Turkey, but got adopted by Rome at one stage, and but they had these mad cults sort of developed over the years, but and the followers used to actually go in a frenzy and actually castrate themselves.
That's what they're doing now.
And
that's what's going on now, mate.
Yeah.
Because they've got their feet in the material. They're not like the magician. They've not got their wand. They're not reaching up to the divine. They're just stuck with their bits and pieces on the table.
Ooh,
and, I'm gonna shut up.
Like this is image stuck with your bits and pieces on the table. That's one.
And if we don't know how to use them,
glue your bits on. Stop it. Put your glue guns down, dickheads.
All right, so I got two things. Hermaphrodite. That's an interesting word. Have you ever heard that it's a combination of Hermes, Aphrodite?
Yeah.
You have
amazing.
Isn't it?
I never thought about that before.
Isn't it?
Right. Some of the teachings that I've learned, it's also considered like Hyros Gamos. Yeah, just that unity consciousness, right? And you said that brilliantly, Liz, for sure. And what people need to understand is what we have going on today is nothing like what you were referring to, of that like manifestation of that spiritual embodiment, unification. And but we have children growing up today, born through pharmakia mafioso industrial complex that is based off of the hospitalier, where there's certain chains of command in a military type of sense, right? And it's backed by all types of allopathic assholes and that kind of stuff. And so the parents, what kinds of meds were they taking when they conceived? What was the women ingesting, and whatever meds and needlecraft they had going on? And then when the baby is born, what kind of needlecraft? And people need to understand that some of the ingredients contain aborted fetal tissue cell, and that's mixing both male and female DNA into a young child. So imagine that kind of can answer some of the gender dysphoria phenomena out there, type of thing.
And the chemicals in shampoos.
Yeah.
And
then the puberty blockers imposed on these young children that are not even old enough to buy a pack of smokes. Come on, like you.
And then the social contagion. So they've gone all through that. They come out the other end. They go on TikTok, and then boom, they are socially conditioned.
And some of these parents are making clouts off of their kids to do
that.
Don't
get me fucking started.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. No, we don't have to go there because we're not transphobic. We're transcendentalists. There's
that's a t-shirt.
I'm having that. I'll give you 5% of my profits because I'm only going to sell one to him.
We'll wear it at your festival, Derek.
Yeah, I love it. Brilliant. But it's just so true. And it's right. You talk now, because I'm just going to go off on one about parents. I will go off on one about I'm not can't be bothered.
Well, Green Tea makes a good point. The folks that want to reduce the population giggle to see people sterilizing themselves. Yeah. Green Tea, yeah. I mean, it works on that agenda level as well, of course, because these people aren't going to have children. So
there's so many different ways we could go down, isn't there? Bloody hell.
Yeah, totally.
This is great.
You can take it however you want, and and sometimes, whoa, I have to not offend other parents because I don't have a child myself, so I can't speak about things that, you know, any human being, even a child, can learn, that there's objective truths about these things. And holy smokes, wow, like just because someone gave birth to a child doesn't mean that they all of a sudden know everything. They're the best parent for their child, and you know what I mean? So
Absolutely ridiculous.
yeah, so I've gotten a
When
lot
we
of
talk
flack
about natural
sometimes
law,
online from these things. Even, you know, grade school friends growing up and this and that. Like, oh, you're trying to tell me how to raise my kid and this and
yeah,
that.
I
'Cause
am.
it's like, no, I just said something that I've learned that was true. And if you're offended by it and triggered by it, that's your fucking issue. I didn't tell you how to raise your kid and this and that. I might be telling you indirectly that you're wrong about something. You can take it as personal as you want, but that's your fucking problem. It's not mine. And that's the
And
thing.
don't you think if you're triggered by something, I always say if you're triggered by something, you need to be looking at that. I try to do that myself. I get
That'll work.
triggered by a lot of things, as you can probably tell. I know I hold it in quite well. I'm not an emotional woman anyway, but you do have to look at that. You do have to do your shadow work. I didn't really understand what that meant a few years ago, shadow work. I was like, I can remember sending an email to Tina saying, how do I do my shadow work? What's all this I've been hearing about shadow? What the bloody hell's going on? And then I watched, what was that? For years, they were like, oh, you won't like that film. Oh, no, you won't like that film. And then I watched it, Fight Club. And if that's not about doing your shadow work, I don't know what is. And all the symbolism of it is in water. And so that's obviously the subconscious, like it is in the tarot, etc. And then all of a sudden I was like, I fucking get what shadow work is now. And so anyway, going back to being triggered, if you're triggered by something, it's touching a nerve. It's kind of a good thing because it's saying there's something here. You know, it's like getting a bump on your arm. Ow, that hurt. Well, don't keep bumping your, you know what I mean? It's kind of like a do something, think something because you're feeling something's going on here. But no, what do? They bite the person that's triggering them or whatever instead of
Yeah,
looking at
they
themselves.
react. They don't have that responsibility, right? They're just overreacting on that kind of stuff.
React, emote. And that's all that matters at the moment. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the truth is, like we were saying the other day. It doesn't matter what the objective truth is. It's what's your truth? Fuck off. You know, what's your truth? No. What is the truth? Not what's your truth. Because like we said, natural law doesn't give two shits about your truth. It just gives a shit if the kid's going to run off the cliff. You know what I mean? My truth is, oh no, I'm in this field and I can't see the kid doing that. The kid's still going to fall off the fucking cliff. And people aren't taught anymore to think rationally and objectively. They're just taught to emote.
Yeah,
Says the
and we're
most
not saying
emotional
like
thing
fuck
in
your
this chat
feelings.
room.
It's more like you have to put your fucking feelings aside to really just, you know, be in line with truth sometimes, you know, like, and those are the triggers. And like, it's like the emotional radar, like what's coming up. You have to, you know, step aside back and try to fall into that hermit card in the tarot and be that objective observer
Love
as
it.
best as you can.
Yeah,
You know?
I love it. And I love the fact that we can use the tarot for
Yeah, for
every
sure.
single conversation we have. You know what I mean? It's just ridiculous how it is literally. I just say it's like I was saying to Derek the other day, people are scared of the tarot. Look at, like, I love it. I painted that for I did a little video for that for Linda.
I mean, what's wrong with the tarot? I mean, this guy, he looks like Gandalf the Gray. No Frodo, you know?
Who doesn't want to do that? Who doesn't want to be that guy? You know, honest
It's
to God.
Christian bastardization or whatever, right?
But people don't realise the tarot is just Jungian psychology. If you called it Jungian psychology, they're like, oh, right, okay, now I get it now. Tarot cards and mirrors, use them to pull up the deep shit and look at it and do something about it. That's all tarot is. It's not. It's probably not all tarot is, but
there's more. But you know, with kind of like that Joseph Campbell-esque hero's journey twist to it as well.
I'm halfway through reading that.
Yeah,
halfway through reading it, but for the channel, I'm videoing myself reading
That's great.
it.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm
Oh, yeah.
halfway through, and then I got halfway through, and I nearly had a nervous breakdown. I was like, "What the fucking hell's
Yeah.
going on?" But
By
so
the way,
yeah,
Green Tea had a great comment as far as like, yeah, puberty is awkward. It's normal to feel odd and clumsy. For sure. We've all been there, right?
still
It is
bloody
meant to
do.
be blocked. You know, it's supposed to be, yeah, we cannot suppress those things, just like we cannot suppress our emotions or thoughts and all these things, because they kind of get, you know, swept under the rug, and a monster builds after that. And, you know,
Okay.
yeah, that
But then it
into
goes
the
back to
whole,
what Mark was saying about how
yeah.
there used to be rituals for the men and the women to deal with things like puberty and the monsters and the perceived shit.
Ooh,
You know, you used to have the, you know,
Yeah, well, I suppose that was a ritualized way of doing your shadow work or dealing
yeah,
with the shadow, because, you know, and as I say, the biggest time was the winter solstice, which you can say is the biggest shadow in terms of a natural cycle of the world.
Yeah. And with
So
the sun going
but
down
now we
4
don't
days
have that.
later.
You know, what is it? Coming of age, go and get pissed up and get a stripper or something like that. Do you know what I mean? You know, it's like, hey, you might have been taken out and had to hunt something. I don't know.
Ha! Yeah,
But but learning how to hunt would have sustained you and your tribe. You
no,
know,
where's the
getting
rites of
pissed and getting a
passage these
stripper. Just
days?
saying.
You know, from boyhood to manhood, where are these rites of passages that, you know, got lost over time, that used to be really legit and would really create boys to men? You know,
yeah, and that
and same for
also,
women. You know, and I'm not sexist. Yeah. Sorry, Mark.
We
Yeah.
don't even care.
yeah. But I mean, yeah, you're totally right. It does all coincide with the hero's journey, and it was all about, as well, things like the transition from the warrior to the king, and they had to go through these rituals so that they would rule wisely and that sort of thing. So all of this became integrated in like the Grail legends of King Arthur, that sort of thing. You know, again, it was the hero's journey, and so totally it all connects to the tarot as well. It's another.
And there's also that thing that you were talking about chopping the king up, burying him, and then he'd grow back again or something.
Yeah.
And so he'd have to go to the underworld, like, what's the green god called? The green god in Egypt. What's the green one called? Osiris.
Osiris was dismembered, yeah, and went
down into the underground,
yeah.
underworld, and
Yeah.
that is. People look at these. What's our favourite word? Alchemical texts and drawings and go, what? You had to cut a king up and bury him under the ground? No, you big twat. It means you have to do that on a personal level, do your shadow work, do your rituals. You have to transform and ascend. You don't actually chop up a king and put him under the ground.
But that's the thing.
Allegories.
When it got hijacked by the empires and
that's what they would accuse people of doing.
But there were rituals where they used to cut people up, and that became part of the ritual. Or that, you know, there was a surrogate king, got nominated for the day. He was king for the day, and then he got ripped apart. And it was.
But were they just bastardizing what the original?
Well, that's what my point.
Yeah,
I think that's exactly what they were doing. They're
doing now,
and it was all part of the process. Like with the witch trials, it was doing away with those old rituals and perverting them.
Yeah, like they're doing now,
and making it into something darker in terms of just so they could rule in the way that they wanted to, which was suppressing everything that went before. And yeah, this is happening in different forms now, as DJs put in the chat, the beta blockers. It's all puberty blockers, not beta blockers, but again, it's suppressing people's natural instincts and making them easy to control, you know. And it's
I don't know about videos, Green. So Green's just asked about, are there any audio? I've been struggling to sort this out, and the one that Thomas Sheridan said to get was this Alfred Douglas on the tarot, and it's bloody fantastic. But I've also got this one because I've got Rider-Waite, so I've got this one as well. This is the ultimate guide to the Rider-Waite tarot. Now, this one's really good because this one gives you, it breaks down every single bit of what's on the Rider-Waite tarot. So, for example, it'll say It will give you the color of the background, the sun, or why it's a red cloak, etc. So it's bloody brilliant for that. Okay. And then it gives you a basic meaning, a spiritual experience, card of the day, prognosis, blah, 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 right? Brilliant. However, this one gives you warts and all. This one gives you reversed meanings. This one's challenging. So I use both. I'm learning through doing both at the same time, because I don't just want fluffy. If you've got like 10 daggers sticking out of you, it probably doesn't mean everything's fine and you're on your right path. So I like using both green. So I don't know if but this one is the one Thomas, and obviously he is the great magi of our times. So Alfred Douglas is what is bloody brilliant, because it gives you warts and all. But if you've got Rider Waite, which is my favourite because I love Pamela Coleman Smith's art, I got both and I'm learning through both. But green, honest to Christ, I stopped looking for how-tos and just started doing it. And I swear to God, I'm having weird, vivid dreams every single night. I'm having synchronicities. I'm just getting like electric shocks now thinking about it. It really, you have to just think, you just have to dive in. You have to dive in. Doing my art about it, green. Maybe draw the pictures or something like, do something with your hands. I make it sound like I know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. So I just do what I do. I just dove in. And now I'm starting to fucking get it. And I'm starting to know things without the books now. It's just so weird. I'm starting to intuit.
Well, I think that's surely what it's
supposed
about,
to be
connecting with. Its intuition.
Oh,
it's
look at your background. Yeah. I love it.
You did that even. You didn't even move.
It's so professional. It makes us look so shit.
Suddenly the tarot appears.
I mean, we don't need it. It appeared like a beautiful thing. Christ knows what I'd get if I was to do that. But yet, just get yourself a pack and just sleep with them and touch them and look at them. And what the hell does that mean? I don't know. What do you think? What do you think, Derek? Have you got any tips for green?
Yeah, honestly, it's like 78 wonderful friends in a single pack, and that's where it's at. One of my mentors said, like, hey, like if you're not really that well on the tarot, which I really am not. I'm more of a tarot student and enthusiast more than anything. But it's like, I don't know, there's just like certain things that, if you've really been awakened and activated to certain things and like studied well into the occult and esoterica and hermetica and all that stuff, then yeah, certain correlations are just going to resonate and
really
make sense. And you didn't even read a book about it, but it's like, oh yeah, I can speak on that because it just, you see the symbolism and all these things about it. But my mentor said, like, yeah, like just pull out a card and put it out in front of you for like a week and just look at it, have it in your view, whatever, like anything. There's the Chariot, like how are you driving things in your life type of thing, and yeah, you have like the dualistic black and white stuff. So how are you navigating that Masonic checkerboard of lower base consciousness to really rise above that with or without Jacob's ladder and all that stuff,
I love it.
Are you
what happens is the more you mess about with it, the more you're motivated to mess about with it. It's almost like, if you wait until, oh my God, because I did this and I'm speaking from experience. I'm not just like coming out with this shit out of my mouth. I spent years. I've had tarot decks for years hanging about. And I was like, oh, I don't know enough about them. I don't know what to do. I don't know. So I was like, fuck it. I'm getting them out. I'm playing with them. I'm just going to, these books are brilliant for me. But now I'm learning, Mark's talking about the alchemy. I'm starting to paint alchemical pictures and and it's like Jung talks about the archetypes. They really do start coming. I'm not just chatting shit here. They do. Well, I probably am. But they do start coming away.
I was going to get at, like, these are just archetypes of consciousness. That's like how we need to look at these cards for sure. Yeah, it's not just this woo-woo divination bullshit. Yeah, continue. please.
100%.
I think
I like
Green
what,
Tea's going to set
DJ
you off
Blake
here with a
said,
comment.
or-
Is there a particular artist for the deck?
Yeah, Pamela.
Does
Right,
does
yeah,
that-
that's a good question.
I don't know. It might matter to you, mate.
Yeah, I like the Pamela Smith. That's fantastic. Yeah, I love that. It's just so classic and all that stuff. Yeah.
I mean, I would, whatever resonates with you. I've got 3 packs. I was given a beautiful pack by Mari, beautiful golden, lovely. I love them as pictures. They're beautiful things. I was given some by my old boss. Gorgeous, a lovely sentiment. But there's just something about those pictures behind Derek right now that sing to my heart. Maybe it's because I like the bright colours. Maybe there's just something that sings to my heart. So you've got to just. Oh, I prefer it when you're there. But you've just got to. Honestly, that they say your first. They talk shit, don't they? Your first tarot pack's got to be gifted to you, not necessarily just what sings to you. You know what resonates with you. I sound like such a new age twat, but it does boil down to that. You know, what works for me might not work for you. You know, I know Mari uses more old fashioned deck, I think. But I don't think there's a right or wrong, Derek. Do you? I don't know.
Well, there's where I'm at in France, and actually I touched base in Marseille where I met my fiancée.
Is that them ones? The
in a
Chevalier
beautiful
de
Mediterranean Bay. There's that is that one, I think. Yeah. That's that classic, really old school pre Rider-Waite deck. Rider-Waite Smith. Excusez-moi, les amis. Mais oui.
Don't start stinking.
I'm not over here eating frog legs, believe that. But yeah, like
Absolutely not. Bloody hell. What about snails?
no.
There's some things that just need to be left in their shells, isn't there?
Yeah, maybe
Just
including
leave it in
snails.
there.
Although they make a pretty good sauce. I've had a decent escargot type of thing, but yeah, like ages ago.
Dirty bastards.
You gotta try it once.
Oh, bloody hell. So, listen, I might call it a night because we've been going 2 hours.
Yeah, sure.
There's going to have to be a part 3 for the light reading.
That's all right. We've got a month.
One page of.
Yeah, I've got to get this done because we get another one next month, so I'm going to have to sort it out one way or another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Derek, again for joining us. And
you are
great content.
you are a proud. You are a honorary proud. We just
and also while we're at it on the tarot, real quick, it's been on my mind and in the works with some people in network that are kind of down to do it, and I wanted to have some kind of like round table regarding the tarot.
Ooh.
So I would love to have you guys on sometime just about that and just get into some really cool things about that. I'm trying to line out some just really cool talking points and just questions and little, I wouldn't say shenanigans, but I like the edutainment elements with these videos and stuff. And
I just feel like a little bit straight away.
I did upload the video of your last live stream on my channels as well, just to kind of promote you guys as well. And
Brilliant, thank you.
A little intro
let's just like keep each other in the loop with things because I don't know, this feels like it's got legs, not frog's legs. But this, I don't know, I just feel that this whatever this is, it just feels nice and friendly and good, doesn't it?
We've inspired Nina to get some tarot.
Oh, bless you.
Yes.
That's
good
brilliant.
for you, Nina. Get yourself some Rider-Waite. They're called Rider-Waite, but I started calling them Rider-Waite Smith because I can't get her down. I've got her up here. She's up there.
Pamela Coleman.
I got you.
She's up there looking at me. That's nice, Nina. That's really nice. Yeah. Get yourself some nice colourful ones.
Yeah, and if no one has a book, I have read a lot about the tarot, but it was more on websites and that kind of stuff. And I have a bunch of PDFs. But Building Beautiful Souls, that's a really good website that I personally use that has helped me learn about the tarot and stuff.
Find it and stick it in the chat box. Building Beautiful Souls.
Yeah, it's a beautiful name too, right?
Let me find it. Oh my God, it's all gone wrong. You talk, I'll do this.
Oh yeah, right. Liz is currently getting up the website. Just talk amongst yourselves, everybody.
You can't. Dickhead. That's what you're there for.
Building Beautiful Souls.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, looks fascinating.
Right, let's just
Right,
cheers, Nina.
It's coming in. It's coming in, everybody.
Yeah, and there's a lot to consider with even the numerology, the zodiac, with these things, or I wouldn't, astrology rather, and yeah, there's just, I love how these arts and sciences, and you could tie it into the runes as well, Liz. I think you mentioned that the other day, and they all tie into natural law as well, and just the proper pathwork to be a beautiful soul, right? Yeah. Build it up, be the master builder, be the king on your throne, like the justice card that represents natural law, right? That has the scales and the Excalibur, keeping it aligned, and also as light as a feather, like Mayat's in regards to Libra, the scales, and what he's holding in there, like they all mix up, and it's just, it all helps one articulate and navigate these things so much more. So I really appreciate you guys having me on to express some things. So yeah,
it's literally, if you do a spread, it's like you've had 2 hours with a psychotherapist.
A good one.
When I did one the other day, and I came away, and I spoken to Mark, and I couldn't have got any more from a Jungian psychologist. Do you know what I mean? I couldn't have done. If you've got a pack of tarot cards, you've got your own personal therapist in a box. Just get it out the fucking box, basically. It really is. It's just like the most honest, because it's coming from you. It's coming from you. You can get some bloody good therapists, but the tarot is you speaking to you, I think.
Yeah.
Whatever that means.
Yeah, no, I think this makes a lot of sense. Green Tea saying your playlist, Derek, on natural law is awesome. She thanks you.
Yeah,
natural law all the way.
Yeah.
I'll be looking at that then, Derek. You've got a playlist on that.
Yeah, check out Derek's sites.
I got a lot of playlists and a lot of videos and a lot of music, a lot of podcasts, and I'd love to have both you guys on sometime on my other channel, Dissolving the Divide, as well.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. That'd be absolutely awesome. Yeah,
we'd love to.
Yeah, we'd love to. That'd be great. Amazing.
And if you guys are free tomorrow, there's a live stream on Europa Natural Law that I'm, part of the group. I'll be hosting the live stream this week actually, and give you more information about that if you want.
We're friends on Facebook, so just send me some stuff over, and we're up for most things, aren't we?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm just all about the win-win, holding people large, cross-pollination across the nations, and just expanding the networks of
Absolutely. But if you start selling a wellness products, then we can't be friends.
Unless you give us a few percent.
No,
obviously not. No.
Mark's selling his soul.
No way.
I sell my beautiful soul.
But thanks to Green Tea and Nina for the comments and all that. DJ. I see you.
So Nina has had tarot in the past, and it was amazing. Oh, it's just so amazing, Nina. It really is. You can get some dodgy weird. Me and you, I'm going to talk to you privately, Nina, because me and you know somebody that LARPs the tarot. But that's gossiping off air. This is for ascended fifth dimensional conversations. We'll do gossiping a little bit later. I'm seeing you on Wednesday. We'll gossip then. But anyway, thanks everybody. DJ Nina, Green Tea, Margaret was ages ago. Ben, of course, bless him. Don't forget Ben's on at 9. Whisperoon, I hope your mum's okay. Whisperoon, his mum was in hospital. DJ, everybody, sorry for Neil, and
everyone else that
everyone else, and thank you, especially Derek. You'll be getting sick to death of us soon.
Probably see you tomorrow, maybe.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Right. Thanks, everybody.
This is where I live. I just want to show you guys lovely La France. We're not all arrogant pricks, by the way. Yeah.